Welcome, everyone. So my name is Ro. If you don't know who I am, I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, and I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse. And I want to talk to y'all. Can you give me a shout out, Bobby and Mikey? A shout out. Who is that? Okay, sure. Shout them out. You're here. You're rested. How is everyone? Sunday. It's Sunday, right? We're Sunday. Welcome in, guys. Send me an invite. Yes, girl. Get in here. We are, okay, how do we do this? How come I can't invite you? No, I can't invite you. Hold on. Let's see if I can open the guests. Okay, now I can receive guests. Okay. Let's get Mystery in here. We're doing I can't invite you. It's not letting me invite you. Can you invite yourself? Elle, hello, welcome in. I got guests on the go. So if anyone can, thank you for the follow, guys. Appreciate you. Where's Michelle? I can't. You're not in here to invite. I got Thumper. I got Jess. I got Reason. And I cannot invite you. Uh-oh. What's going on here? This is going to be a fully interactive because my voice is kind of gone, so I can't really... Oh, it's so weird. Yeah, I don't know. That is so weird. We're going to do a full-on live chat where we're going to have guests. So if anybody wants to come in, feel free to invite yourselves, okay? I would love to see your faces. We're going to have a discussion about narcissists over the holidays. Narcissists who are trying to fuck with our lives, fuck with our joy and peace and happiness. And talk about the post-separation abuse as well as all of the abuse that happens in our on our birthdays, on our holidays, on any type of day that doesn't revolve around them, because they want everything to be revolved around them. So if you're new here and you're not already following me, if you can and have access to being live, go ahead and just drop in a invitation or a request, and we'll bring you on and let's just talk about it, since my voice doesn't work right now. They love ruining the holidays, I know. And anyone who's subscribed, feel free. Action failed. Please try again. What? I'm trying to, let's see here. Turn off multi-guest. No, multi-guest is turned on. Multi-guest is turned off. No. Let's turn that shit on. I can receive guests. Okay, perfect. Grid, I think. Let me find light and I can hop in. Yes, just guys, anybody who wants to hop in, just hit the little plus, invite yourself in. We're going to be talking all about it. So I want to know who here has dealt with a narcissist, who here has had a narcissist in their life who has ruined or tried to ruin their holidays. Hello, Jess. Welcome.
Hello. Oh, it didn't do the... It's doing audio. Wait. Oh, there we go.
Takes a second.
It does. I love technology.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Oh, my hair is doing a thing right now. I don't know what happened to Michelle. She was going to come in, but something's going on. She got reported last night for nothing, for absolutely nothing.
The men get mad when we talk about the bad things they do.
Oh my gosh, they get so mad.
They're so mad.
They're like,
I talked about Dan Price's domestic violence history, and that got taken down real fast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they don't like that.
They don't like it at all.
Just wanted to say hello. It says I can guest, but won't let me. Oh, Mystery. That sucks. Why not? Yeah, it won't let me invite you as a guest.
That sucks. I have a great Valentine's Day story, actually.
Oh, let's hear it. I love
So stories. This was my last Valentine's Day with my ex-narcissist. And he was going to do this whole dinner thing. He said, do you either want to And like everything blew up in my relationship during the pandemic. Like that's when it got really, really bad. And he decided that he was either going to make us dinner or he was going to order something in. And I said, you know what? You pick either way. That's fine. Cause I'm actually very laid back when it comes back, like when it comes to food stuff. I'm like, just pick something. Just pick something. And he decided that he was going to make food. Decides to go take a nap. It is 8:30 at night. 8:30 at night. And I say, you know what? Screw this. I wake him up and say, I guess I'm making my own Valentine's Day dinner. Blows up in my face because I just didn't trust him enough. Ended up as this huge knockdown, drag out fight about how I just didn't believe in him and trust him enough. And he still had time to go to the store because, you know, he was going to still get up at 9:00 at night and go to the store and make Valentine's Day dinner. And it was all going to be fine. And I just didn't trust him enough. And we were going to make up this Valentine's Day dinner that blew up. And the second I asked him about it, it was, we already did that. That never happened. Never happened. That was never made up. That never happened. Like none of those things.
Oh, I have a Valentine's Day story for you. So on Valentine's Day, I went into labor.
Oh, double whammy. Double
whammy. On my for my second baby, so our first baby on Valentine's Day, my mother-in-law, monster-in-law, we'll call her.
Monster. Oh, absolutely.
But at the time, she was my mother-in-law, and I said to her, you know, we want to have like a really nice. Oh, you're healing from surgery. Well, we're here. Thank you for modding and thank you for being here, Reason. Anybody who wants to join the chat, if you have 1,000 followers and you can join in, feel free to just add a request and I will enter you in. We've got 4 spots. We're having a really fun conversation about holidays, about Valentine's Day, birthdays, Christmas, anything, and how narcissists love to ruin it. So
you name it, they'll ruin it.
You name it. If it doesn't have anything to do with them, or if it does have something to do with them and they want to put the attention on them, they're going to ruin it no matter what it is. So Absolutely. We're having a baby and I go into like mega labor. Okay. And the monster-in-law in our life was like, let's take your son. Like, I'll take them. We'll have like a nice little dinner and you two can have a nice little date night.
Of course, he ruined his birthday.
So we decided to go and watch a movie because he said to me, do you want to have dinner? This is Valentine's Day. I want to give you what you want, baby. Do you want to have dinner or a movie? You get to pick one. Not both on Valentine's Day. It's one or the other. And I chose the movie. So we're in the movie and I'm having contractions in the movie. I'm sitting there writhing through each one and he's ignoring me throughout the whole time. I'm pushing through each one, like trying to make it like not a big deal. And I'm like going through each one with the contraction. I had probably 6 or 7 contractions throughout that whole movie. We went and saw Split. It's like a M. Night Shyamalan kind of, you know, it was a little bit messed up. Like it was a weird movie. I don't remember it because I was obviously in labor. And he's sitting there watching the movie and I'm just like, you know, like breathing through and like no big deal, right? And then we get home after the movie and he goes, well, let's cook dinner since, you know, we didn't have dinner, right? Yeah, it was a fucked up movie, Split. Anyways, he decides that he wants to have a Caesar salad. And you make the best Caesar salad, honey. Can you make it? So I'm like, sure. So I start making the Caesar salad. In the middle of Caesar salad, I'm chopping the lettuce. I'm doing all the thing. I'm like grinding, like, you know, I'm making the actual dressing because I make it from scratch. So I've got like a whole big thing and I'm doing like, you know, the garlic and the anchovies and I'm mashing it all up. And in the middle of all this, I'm having contractions and I'm like at the dishwasher, like breathing. And he's sitting on the couch, sitting on his ass. Mind you, our son is at his mom's house, so there's nobody there but us, just the 2 of us. And I'm like having contractions, and he turns to me and goes, how long is it going to fucking take you to make that salad, babe? what
Sounds
are
about
you
right.
what are you doing? I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
having contractions. Like,
Yep.
Wow.
like, you're not seriously having a baby right now. I'm like, I'm not having a baby right now. I'm having contractions. Yeah, it's taking me a little longer to make the salad. Like, you can chill. And he sits there and he's got his feet kicked up. And then he says to me, "Oh, that dinner was so good. Thank you so much for an amazing, amazing Valentine's Day. I really appreciate you. Um, I'm gonna go up to bed. It'd probably be a good idea if you stayed down here or slept in the basement because
What?
I want to have a good night's sleep just in case you go into labor. Let me know if you go into labor, okay?" And
That sounds great.
I slept in the basement.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in 3 in the morning, I'm like moaning. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like moaning and groaning. And he comes downstairs. He's like, "You're not having a baby right now." I'm like, "We need to go to the hospital. We need to go to the hospital." We went to the hospital. I had a baby at 4 o'clock. Like, it literally was like 1 hour then we got there.
Ugh.
And he was telling the nurse, he was telling our midwife, he was telling everybody how he was like, "Oh, I knew she was having a baby. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it." Like, I made the Caesar salad. Like, he went up and slept and snored all night up in our bed while I slept in the basement. It was, yeah, it was ignorant. It was so ignorant. Welcome, C.
Sounds
Thank
about
you for
right.
being here.
This is
Hi.
my answer. Like they
Hi.
just run their mouth about like how amazing they are.
They're so good at
Oh,
the
I know.
masking. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So good
The
at it,
masking.
right?
So good at it.
What is wrong with some
In the
men? I
public
am
eye
like,
to everyone else.
I love
And
this
then you
comment right
tell
here.
and then you
What
tell
is wrong
normal
with some
people
men?
and their jaw drops and you're just like, "Oh, you just tell it like it's something normal that happened," and then normal people's jaw drops and you're like, "Oh, great."
Right? I know. They're like, what? Like, this is what I love about this comments like this, like T-Bird. There are men who will be like, "That's not wrong. That's okay." But it's not all men that do that. It's not all this. There are people like this that are like, "What is wrong with men? Why
Yeah.
do you do that? What is wrong with these people?" Right? I make mistakes, but that's fucked up. Like, having the accountability to know that we all make mistakes. We all get a little selfish sometimes. Like, we all have narcissism in us. We all have some healthy ones, healthy aspects of narcissism, but we also can access the real damaging side of narcissism where we do hurt others. We don't we're selfish. Sometimes I put myself first and I don't really realize how much I'm hurting others. I get that. Um, but there's this level of accountability where I'm like, I know I fucked up. I know I did something wrong. I do make mistakes. A narcissist doesn't see that. They
Yeah.
don't think they make any mistakes at all.
They don't
Yeah.
oh, frick. Sorry.
Selfish,
They,
yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
understand that they make any mistakes at all. They just turn it on the other person.
They do, yeah. They do.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Well, it's like I broke this plate, but somehow it's your fault that I broke this thing.
Yeah, everything is your fault. They'll
Yeah.
blame you for
Yeah.
everything.
Like I crashed my car and somehow it's your fault that I crashed my car.
That
Right?
happened to me this year.
Tell us about
I blocked him and everything, but crazy. Crashed my car, totaled my high school car. He ran off. Ran off.
What do you mean
Came
he
back with his ex. It was crazy.
Oh goodness. Um
Crazy.
I have sushi coming, so like I'm like waiting for it.
That sounds amazing. I made
Yum.
carnitas and I got these holiday
Woo!
cookies.
I'm just
Oh,
drinking some
truly is
tea.
nice. I've got
But they made
so
the
I
holiday ones.
what is that? How is it holiday?
So like this one's sangria and they're like all these actual holiday flavors and they were fantastic.
Ooh, I need to know about this.
Yum.
So I have wine. I got my red wine. I'm celebrating 1 year no contact. Anybody who's in the chat, if you have
1 year.
1 full year no contact, 3 years separated, and I'm going to be divorced in like 15 days. So I signed my divorce papers like 2 weeks ago. It takes 30 days to get the divorce judgment, and I'll be divorced. And
Yeah.
I'm no
Oh
contact
my
today for one
gosh.
full year. Thank you so much, Michelle. 1 full year, and I couldn't have done it without my besties, without my friends, without some of the people who are my ride or dies. Michelle, Mystery One, who's in TikTok jail right now. She can't go live. She can't guest for some reason. Um, in group coaching, which whoever was in my group coaching tonight, I have a monthly group coaching session that I host every month for survivors. For anyone who wants to join, it's $25. We talk for 90 minutes, and a lot of us we are able to share in a Zoom call about what we went through. And one of our members in the group coaching, Michael, shared the types of relationships and types of friendships we have with people. The topic tonight was toxic friendship, toxic people who are in our lives that are friends that sometimes wreak havoc around the holidays and birthdays and things like that, just like a narcissist would. And people, how we have relationships that are not romantic and how that plays out. And one of the relationships that he talks about three. He talks about somebody who is a tool, a useful tool, someone who is a pleasure relationship that you just go out and have fun with, but you're not really like interested in anything more. And then true friendships, ones that help you grow, ones that are with you when you're down, ones that are with you when you're rising up. They don't just leave you once you start leveling up because they're jealous of your success. They're with you when you're up and they're with you when you're down.
Yeah.
And like Michelle is one of those friends for me, guys. Like, so Michelle's secret one, she's one of those friends for me who, if I'm going through some shit, she's going through some shit. We're like, we can bounce that. It's like, some people don't like to use that term ride or die, but it is like a ride or die. It's like somebody who's with you when you're healing, who isn't complaining when you're changing, because we all grow and change. And it's important to have friendships like that. And I think, having a community of people who understand what you're going through really helps you gain that type of friendship. And we've never even met each other. So this is what I love.
Yeah. And I think those type of ride or die friendships, like the do I need to bring a shovel friends, are so important. I have one of those.
I'm not going to tell you what happened. I'm not going to say anything, but we need to hurt some people.
Like,
whose car are we taking?
Oh, yeah. Like, I have one of those. Her name's Courtney. She's my ride or die also. And she very much, like, there's a guy we're going to go tell off on Tuesday because he's trying, like, I figured out very quickly. This Tuesday, because I figured out he's trying to be manipulative and I'm not here for it. And so we're going to confront him together on Tuesday.
I love that.
Like, it took a week for me to figure out the games that he was playing. And I was like, nope, we're done. Let's go do it. Yeah, this is Thor. This is actually when somebody in there asked what the final straw was for me to leave. It was when this guy here was thrown against a wall by my ex being a drunken psychopath. Yeah, it's just a door. They're all rescues, and so he likes to tell people that I stole his dogs, but their tags are even updated with the rescue with my current phone number. So clearly, these are my dogs. These are not his dogs. So,
my God, Thor, he's so cute. Who would ever do that to a dog? I know.
A drunken, psychopathic, narcissistic asshole.
My ex is too, and he didn't take care of his animal, I feel like, either.
This is my baby.
Yeah, his own animal? Did he have a pet?
He had a dog.
Oh. Yeah. I feel like they do that, though, also as a matter.
Always be gone.
They do that too, because I feel like they get super jealous of any kind of connection, even if it's with an animal, with a pet. So I used to have this like super cute Yorkie, Eddie, his name was, and when my ex and I broke up, we broke up for 2 years. When we broke up, I got Eddie, and then when I moved back in with my ex, obviously Eddie moved in with us, and he was so rude he was like intimidating him. Like he would like stand in front of his food and be like, right? And Eddie would just be like, oh, like he would get super freaked out. And then Eddie started biting. He started biting people. He got like behavioral issues. And my ex was like, oh, that dog is fucked up. Like that dog needs to be put down. You need to get that dog away.
Animals can pick up on it.
He did not like him. Even at our wedding, he made a joke about, oh, Eddie bites everyone on my side of the family. But like, he was jealous of my connection with Eddie, and he didn't like it. So who knows what he did to Eddie when he was alone with him. But I ended up rehoming Eddie to another family, a family that I knew. And he's thriving and he's happy, and I see him sometimes, and I'm happy that he's happy. But yeah, he was really jealous. They abuse animals for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie had a good radar, absolutely.
Yeah.
Welcome, Evan.
Animals
Hello.
know.
Dog, that's war. Ooh, yeah, for real.
Animals know, like,
They do.
Yeah.
Thor is very protective, and he picks his people he likes.
Yeah.
We're very reactive now, but we're getting there. We're making progress.
Thor is so cute.
He is. He's very cute. He's huge. He's a big pug.
Can you get your microphone going, Evan? Evan Peters' wife. Oh, are we Evan Peters' wife? Okay, I'm going to. Oh, the guests left. I let them in, but they left. I love pugs. Okay, I'm going to turn my light on and go pee. So I'll be right back. Take the floor, ladies.
Alrighty. Yeah.
So how long have you been no contact with your...
About a year and a half. I've been no contact. I literally packed my entire life in one day, and I with a little bit of help, and I ran across the country, and with my squishums, I took all the dogs, shoved them in my car, and I backed out of my driveway as he was pulling into the development.
Dang.
Yeah. There's no drama
to
there
a
at
whole new
all.
state because of my narcissistic ex.
Yeah,
Left everything.
I came back, but I had left the state for a while.
I've only been no contact for like since October. So like it's only been like 2 months.
It gets easier.
Yeah. I've been like dating, going on different dates. I'm obviously not ready to like open up like that again because I lost myself. I feel like getting into the crash and all that stuff was like crazy. It was like the worst moments of betrayal I could feel was with him, for sure.
I just started dating again.
And then after, it's nobody talks about the aftermath after you leave the narcissism, like just like the realizations you get later on of like, oh my gosh, all the stuff that really was happening.
You can feel like you are in a room full of people and standing there alone screaming at the top of your voice because no one understands you.
Or when people genuinely want to share genuine love, it feels fake. Like you're like, you're lying. Like you just don't want to accept it because you think it's a mask. You think it's the same thing you went through.
The ones that are trash, and it's just, sifting through them becomes so exhausting. Like the one that we're confronting.
But you can see through it. You can see through it like way more after going through that, though.
You very quickly see through it. I even had an employee I had to write up that I very quickly saw. I was like,
The problem is most people are unhealed and have aspects of a lot of narcissism.
First taste of going to dinner with him pretending everything is fine when it's not. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know if you all know.
Trauma.
Everyone who's in the chat, if you go to the link in my bio, there's a webinar coming up on January 23rd, January 25th. And I'll be in Mexico, and I'll be in this webinar as a panelist talking about dating again. It's called Dating Again, How to Survive or How to Avoid Heartbreak After Surviving a Toxic Breakup. Mm-hmm. And honestly, a lot of people say the most challenging relationship
is the one after.
The healthy relationship after the toxic one, right? You're going to be there. That was you, Elle.
I hate that you think that everything's a lie. I hate that you can't trust that, like,
because that's a hard thing.
Insurance, you just don't want to believe that it's real. It's hard.
It is. It's hard to navigate. Once you hit that first like healthy relationship, even if they're not it gets easier.
I'm kind of just like on my little healing journey right now because it's only been like 2 months since I blocked him.
Fresh. You're fresh. Yeah.
You're fresh. Take that time. It's taken me till now to really start putting myself
probably
back
gonna
out
take
there.
me like a good year or so to like fully be over it, honestly. But
yeah, somebody booked. I got one person booking, 2 people who booked the the webinar, how could he do that? Which is, we're going to be interviewing Lundy Bancroft, who wrote the book, Why Does He Do That?
That book is
That
amazing.
book. Okay, so if you want to meet him, February 9th, I'm going to interview him
Love that
on a
book.
webinar.
Cool.
It's on the link of my bio. He is Dr. Lundy Bancroft wrote that book. Oh my God, it's so good.
It's
So two
so
people
good.
booked that from Instagram, but somebody booked the Dating Again webinar, and that must have been you, Elle, because you just said you're going to that. Anybody who wants to go to either of these, January 25th is the Dating Again webinar, and then the Lundy Bancroft interview webinar is on February 9th. I'm going to be panelists for both of those, so they're on the link in my bio. But dating again, a lot of the times people say after being with a narcissist, they'll never date again. They'll never date again, and that's okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you can live your life never wanting to date again or never being in a relationship and never being afraid to be alone, you'll probably end up in the best relationship of your life because you're at the place where you accept. But then if you also swear off dating and just decide, just say, make a choice never to date again, not let anybody in, there's a part of you that lets the narcissist win as well. It's like,
Yeah.
they also give you that wall. They build
But I
it,
feel
and then
like
no one else can have you.
the narcissism does a good job on knocking down your self-esteem, so you have to like pour in all that energy that was drained that whole time. So I feel like there's a good space for like self-love.
Yours did?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not even kidding. I was swiping on Hinge and it popped up and I was like, are you kidding me? I've had tickets to the circus. I don't need nope. No.
You got season tickets to the circus for life, right?
I am good.
Never
I'm not
getting
Somebody
married
said
this
I'll
show
never get
again.
married again.
Shits and Pickles. I love this name, by the way. Shits and Pickles. That's hilarious.
I literally was like, no, and report. I could not report that profile fast enough for domestic violence and for like, no.
Yes,
no,
I remember you talking about that. Shit. You know, I agree. I agree in a way. I do believe that it's important to like have boundaries around certain things. You're so welcome. And one of the things I do have a boundary around is marriage. I do believe that marriage is something that I just don't feel I want to go through again because it's such a union of finances, legal, and I feel like there are three ways that a narcissist can trap you, and one of them is marriage. Legally, most of them require paperwork. So one of them is marriage, one of them is children, and one of them is financial obligation.
The 3 months rule is not going to protect you from a narc. It's very true.
No, exactly. They can show up 6, 8 a year later. And you're already married. You already have a kid with them. You already own
3 months is not what it takes to see someone's true colors. You can see it in a week. You can see it in 5 years. And unfortunately,
you never know.
I
got lucky that I saw one in 3 months. I got really lucky that I met somebody on TikTok, and I thought that they were amazing, and I never met them in person, and I fell in love, and I was love bombed and everything else. And it took me 3 months to see them for their true colors. And they're still out here fucking blasting their shit. And I'm glad and really happy that I was able to spot it and was able to be like, that person's toxic, and be able to remove them from my life. But you never know, right? Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Chantal is amazing. Brittany, if anybody here follows Canada's dating coach, Chantal Hyde is my dating coach. Actually, I've hired her as my dating coach. I do have Comeback Queen. I have No More Assholes and Fix That Shit upstairs right now, and those are 3 of the many books that she's written on how to just like live a good life and have like a good partner. And she does talk about the 3-month rule. So I think anybody who's interested in understanding what the 3-month rule looks like, and not kissing, no exclusivity, no sleepovers, none of that, to get to know a partner, to find out if they're going to be a good life partner. She does talk about the 3-month no kissing rule.
When you first start dating, to make sure that they don't kiss in the first 3 months you guys start talking.
Yeah, she does that. I mean, she is my dating coach, yes. And I have broken that rule a few times because how do you not kiss somebody in 3 months, right? It's tough, for sure. Um, but snuggles, cuddling, you know, there, I've done certain things where I'm like, I know that I'm never gonna see this person again. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with casually dating. I'm okay with just enjoying them. But kissing, I know. So like I went on a date with someone tonight. He was amazing. Like he was just like super sweet and great, and I'm getting to know him. And it's just a coffee. It was just a quick coffee. Are you saying dating for 3 months with no kissing? Yes. It's a talking stage, just getting to know. So what she
Yeah.
talks about is getting the data. It's understanding like who the person is without any oxytocin, without any falling for them. And kissing, touching lips and tongue gives you oxytocin and clouds your judgment. And then you have feelings for somebody that you don't know yet.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think
But
it's a red flag when a guy wants to kiss on the first date.
yeah.
I'm like, mm-mm.
You know
Don't.
what I noticed
But you know what?
about
That even the guys that won't necessarily kiss you on the first date are still the ones that are going to play the games, unfortunately.
they'll still
Like, why do
play.
you want to do that so fast? Like,
Yeah.
that's scary.
I
I mean,
went on a
like,
date once with a guy who was trying to kiss me, and I'm like I wasn't feeling
You
it.
feel like recoiled. Like, I feel that.
All expectations can be so tiring. Yeah, expectations are pre-planned resentments.
Yeah.
Like we expect something from someone, they don't meet the expectation, we resent them. So I just have no expectations for people. I just see them for who they are and accept who they are and have intentions. And if they end up being good people, they end up being good people. But at least I can see it. I don't expect them to be good or bad. It's like we don't know them. Why exactly? So the person I went on a coffee date with today, he was like scared to touch me. I think that's a good sign. He was like,
yeah.
he was shy. He was scared to touch me. He was he even said he was really shy at the end of the date. He was like,
That's
you're
cute that
so
he
he's like, I'm sorry I was really shy and quiet. You're just so gorgeous." Like it was just so
One of
sweet.
the
sorry. I would be like, oh.
I know.
one of
I
the
was like, "What?"
saddest things I find about narcissistic abuse is that they pick the best people
Yeah.
Yeah, they
and
do.
they shatter who you
Most
are.
I'll be right back.
the most
And
common.
yeah, they just pick these amazing people and then they just shatter
Because
just the best people.
they want to bring them down to their level.
Yeah. It's like
Which means making them
a
insecure,
challenge.
isolating them from their family and friends, making
Yeah.
them feel like
Preaching
they.
that in a date, respecting physical boundaries. I know.
Oh,
They
excuse
say
me.
that the person who's afraid to touch you is usually a person who really respects you because they don't want to fuck it up, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't expect it. Yeah, like he was so cute too. Like I sent the text, I forwarded it to Michelle because I'm like, look how cute this message is. He sends me this message. He's like, sorry, I was so shy. You're so gorgeous. I really connected with you. Really like feeling ya. Can't wait to
Aww.
see you. So we're gonna meet again next week after I have my kids. He has his daughter the same time I have my kids. We have the same car. We both have OG phone numbers from like 1998. Um, he has his daughter the same time I have my kids, week on, week off, on the same exact time. So like he has his daughter tomorrow, but she came to his house one day earlier. But the week that I have my kids, the same week he has his daughter, and the week that we're off is the same week.
That's
Like,
very convenient.
yeah, and like we have the same drink, like we both like the exact same cocktail, which is weird. It's not even like a mirroring kind of thing. It's just we're both like shocked at so many of the
Yeah,
similarities.
exactly. It makes scheduling a lot easier.
Totally, yeah, pretty cool actually. Such a sweet message. I know. I sent that to Michelle. I'm like, look how cute he is. He said he was shy to meet me. So shy to meet me. Off to bed. Good night, shits and pickles. Thanks for coming in. Love that name, by the way.
It's a great name.
It really is.
I got a cover on your face.
I wish you could be in here, Michelle. It would be so cool if you were. This is an open live, so if anybody wants to come in and share, we're talking about dating, we're talking about narcissists.
It's a great name.
Healing. We're talking about pretty much everything. So feel free to share your knowledge, your stories. One thing that I used to do, and this isn't a live that's going to go on YouTube because there's not a lot of education. We're just having fun here. I'm also celebrating my 1 year no contact. So this is part of this live as well. But one thing I used to do
Yay.
on my other live is talk about really awful dating stories or funny ones. So if anybody has one to share,
I got a great one.
let's hear it because I got some
Oh
good
my
ones.
gosh. I actually had one that was like borderline stalking, but it's a great story. I went on this was just one date. I have to preface this story with this was the first date I went on with this guy.
Okay.
And I met him at World of Beer, had a drink, and he's like,
What's
let's go
World of
over
Beer?
to, World of Beer.
What is that?
Oh, it must be like a Central Florida thing. They just have like 1,000 different beers on tap, and it's just a really chill place. Like
Beer Fest. There's Beer Fest here.
Probably very similar.
Yeah.
And It's just a chill place to go have a drink kind of thing. And he goes, oh, we're going to go to Blue Martini, which is this super pretentious bar that I just, I hate it. I hate it. It's where you go meet a sugar daddy. Like, it's just not the place that I like going to. And he's like, well, we're going to go somewhere else for drinks, whatever. Hop in his car, go. World of Beer is a place you should go to. Absolutely. And where does he take me? Freaking Blue Martini. This is before taxis really weren't prevalent. I should have just called one of my friends and said, come get me. And I didn't. It's before I was good with boundaries. And he insists on taking me to Blue Martini, which I said I hated. Hate. And we're there for the next hour at this bar that I hate with overpriced drinks and loud music and just a bunch of pretentious people. And then we get back to the cars and he proceeds to tell me how I hate myself and how I really should work on my self-esteem and how we're going to get married. Keep in mind, this is a first date, how we're going to get married. And in a year, we're going to live on a catamaran and we're going to have 2 kids.
Oh my God.
And then the next day he says, okay, I'm going to come over to your house and make dinner. And I said, no, you're not. I have a 13-hour day that requires me doing nothing but talking as a performer. I'm on a pink carpet welcoming people for this huge weekend event for the theme park I was working for. And I just didn't have like the brain power. Oh, it got even better than Ghosted. It got better than Ghosted. And he just kept pushing. And I was like, no one's coming to my house. Like, none of this is happening. I'm going to go home and I'm going to zone out into nothing and drink wine and not talk to another human being after talking for 12 hours straight. And he just kept saying, no, I'm going to come. I'm going to make you pasta. I'm going to do all these things. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. This is not a thing. This is not happening. And I'm sitting there in the room with another performer who's going, what is wrong with this guy? He's going to kidnap you and sell you into white slavery. Like, what is happening? And he just kept going and going. And I would go on set for 30 minutes at a time. And and he would blow up my phone. Why aren't you answering? Why aren't you answering? I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? This guy did not know where I lived, so it's fine. Oh my God, what is wrong with this guy? What's wrong with this dude? Like, why is he blowing up my phone? I absolutely, by the end of this day, blocked him and have never heard from him ever again in my entire life.
Good for you. Good for you. What breakfast story? I have a dating story. A really funny one. So I have 2.
You'll be trying these tactics out.
So there's Bus Pass Bryce. And there's Rusty Dusty. Which one do we want to hear first?
I feel like Rusty Dusty is going to be great.
Rusty Dusty was recent. So Rusty Dusty is hilarious. Rusty Dusty, we're going with Rusty Dusty. What does it look like when a woman does this to a man? Really? Yeah, no. It happens. It happens. Last week he brought you breakfast. Oh my god, the notes. Yes. Oh my god, that one. Rusty Dusty. Okay. So Rusty Dusty. So the man that I went on a date with, his name was Dustin. He is a restaurant owner, apparently an alcoholic. So I went to go meet him, and as I'm going to meet him, he says to me, what kind of drink would you like? When I see you there, I will order your drink for you. And I'm like, I love a Negroni. So as I'm on the way, I'm like 5 minutes late. He's like, I'm going to drink your Negroni if you don't get here right away. I'm like, whoa, like chill out. Like I'm on my way. So I'm parking the car. I walk up. He's got a glass of wine in his hand and he's got my Negroni. And I sit down. I start drinking the Negroni. And he goes, so what do you want to eat? So I ordered this beef carpaccio. And the waiter who's there, he's British. The waiter kept saying, this man thinks I'm a stalker. He's like joking the whole time. Yeah, this waiter's stalking me because he knows what restaurant I own. Right? He owns 2 restaurants apparently. And the waiter's like, I just know that I know about your restaurant, right? His restaurant's called, I forget what it's called now. Notable, I think. Anyways, he's like, yeah, I know you. I know what restaurant you in. He's like, yeah, he's stalking me. This is my date. Dustin. He's like, he's stalking me. Like, he's saying this. It's very grandiose. It's very weird. And then he says how he's laid off a bunch of employees and it's really stressing him out. Then the beef carpaccio shows up. And the beef carpaccio is too raw or not cured enough for him. So he turns to me and goes, why are you still eating that?
Red flag, absolutely.
I'm like, I like it. He's like, it's not cured enough. It's not good.
The expectations immediately.
He made me feel like I was having I was like doing something bad by eating it. So of course I stopped eating it. He drinks his 1 glass of wine and I finished my Negroni. He goes, are you a basement dweller or a patio hopper? And I said, I don't know. I don't come downtown. Like I never go out. So he's like, let's go out.
I don't even know what that means.
Do you want to go to a basement bar or up on a patio? I'm like, I don't know, right? So he's like, I know a good rooftop patio and I also know a good basement bar. Like, where would you like to go? I'm like, wherever. So we're walking and he whips out a cigarette. As we're walking, he starts smoking a cigarette. And I said, I thought you didn't smoke. Why would you say in your profile that you smoke or that you are a non-smoker? And he goes, did I? I'm like, yeah, I don't match with smokers. Why? He says to me. I said, because I don't kiss smokers. And he's like, I'm just smoking right now because I'm so stressed out that I had to lay off 200 people from my restaurant. And I'm thinking, in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, there is not one restaurant that has 200 employees in it. There's not one. So I'm like, he's a liar. It was so weird. He lied about smoking and he lied about whatever's going on in this restaurant. We walk to this restaurant, this pub. We go down to the basement. We sit down. I order a Negroni and he orders one too. And we're talking for about 5 minutes, and all of a sudden he starts slurring his words, and his eyes glaze over. And I look at him, and I'm like, are you on drugs? And he's like, no. I'm like, why do you look like that? He's like, what? I'm like, you look really drunk. Like, you look really out of it. And he's like, I don't know. Like, he's slurring his words and completely off his rocket. And I'm like, we should probably end the night. Like, you're really drunk. He's like, I don't know how I got this drunk. All I saw was 1 glass of wine and 1 Negroni. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to probably just drive home because I only had the 2 drinks. And he goes, no, I want to take you for sushi. And I chalked it up to like, okay, he must have just not had anything to eat. He didn't like the beef carpaccio because it wasn't cured enough for him. And he works in a restaurant. Maybe he had a lot of drinks before I got there. So I am ready to leave. And he says, no, I would really like to take you to sushi. There's a really good place on 4th Street that I would really like to take you. Let's get an Uber there right now. So he orders an Uber. And I'm like, I'm thinking, fine, okay, whatever. I'll get the sushi with him and then go home. I go to pay the bill because I'm like, you know what? I'll take care of these drinks. I go to pay the bill. I come back. I sit down. And he goes, thank you for paying the bill. I don't know how he got those words out. But he stands up. And as I stand up to put my jacket on, I hear this thud. He falls off his stool flat on his back. I'm like, are you okay? And you see these two big burly guys pick him up and lift him up. And he's like, oh, I don't know what's going on. Like, he was fucked up. I'm like, we are not going to sushi. I'm going home. And we get upstairs, we go up to the street, and I escort him into his Uber. And I'm like, make sure he gets home. The address has changed. And he's like, I'm sorry. He's out the window. I'm sorry. And the next day, I'm like,
Don't be
okay,
sorry.
any kind of
Ew.
acknowledgement, any validate, anything, an apology, maybe even just let me know that you're okay. No, his first and only message that he sends me at 10:50 a.m. is this: holy shit, do I feel like poo today?
No.
No acknowledgement. No sorry, let me make it up to you. No, wow, I can't believe I got so drunk. No, I don't know what happened last. Nothing.
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit, do I ever feel like poo today? I ghosted him.
Yeah.
Ghosted him. He sent me a message at 2 p.m. asking how I'm doing. By that time, I just blocked him. I was like, that was the last message, and I ended up blocking him. No more Rusty Dusty. He needs to learn his lesson. He needs to know he fucked up. How old was he? He was 42. I'm 40. So, like, he should be old enough to know fucking better. Like, it was weird.
No,
Weirdo, right?
I
Weirdo.
find that like men in their 40s are turning out to be really weird.
Yeah.
Because this guy that we're approaching on Tuesday is 43.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a story too. Like,
Are you gonna tell it?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Let's hear it.
So I met him on Hinge, and he turns out to be like in the Orlando entertainment community, which is really like, it's big, but it's small. Everybody knows each other.
What's the entertainment community?
Like people that are performers in Orlando. There's like, it's a small community. Right. And I was like, okay, I'm sure I can check up on this guy at some point and figure out like what his deal is. But things were going well. We went on like a first date and it was pretty normal. We went to this like small barbecue place and it was a normal first date and everything was good and whatever. Second date, he offers to make me dinner. It was really nice. Like I'm celiac, and I casually on the first date mentioned that that the one thing I really, really, really miss is gluten-free cinnamon rolls. He attempted to make me gluten-free cinnamon rolls. I was like, okay. You know, like love bombing normally is a thing where there's not a lot of thought into what they do. It's normally, hey, I'm doing something nice for the sake of doing it nice. There's not that much thought that goes into it.
Right.
But I go over to his house and there is this wall of the albums that he's released. And it is like a love fest to himself.
Fair enough. He's proud of it. Okay.
Maybe he's proud of it. Like, I want to try and give people the benefit of the doubt because it's entertainment. People are proud of their accomplishments. It's a hard world and people work very hard. And, you know, you try and give people the benefit of the doubt on that.
Right.
But it is a wall of accomplishments. Like, oh boy.
It's a wall of a love affair for you.
Yeah, it's a love affair with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, it's fine. You know, like he seems really nice. It's fine. It's absolutely his shrine to himself.
Shrine.
It is a shrine to himself. We are going to go back now with more data that we have now and go with it is a shrine to himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know, like in the moment I'm going, look at him. He's proud of his accomplishments. He won one of the seasons of Sing Off, like the acapella show. So he was like very proud of himself. Like good for you. Like good accomplishments.
He wants to show that part off.
Yeah, like good for you. Made a very nice dinner, like everything was good. And
gluten-free and everything.
It was like there was so much thought that went into it. Like he really, really thought about all of it. And everything was good. And we went to this party. And yeah, my humor is really dark, guys. I say fucked
Me too.
Up
Me too.
I say fucked up shit that makes people uncomfortable. And like everything was good. And then we went to this party and I drew the line about what I was comfortable with and he followed it. And I went and picked up my friend afterwards. And, you know, it's just kind of gone down this path of like the ego. And I went and talked to my friend Cheryl and I said, hey, you guys are mutual Facebook friends. Tell me about him. And she looks me square in the face and goes, run.
Oh, oh no.
He
Not good.
thinks so much of himself. You deserve better than that. I love you so much. You deserve so much more than that. You are cute and amazing.
Oh.
And you deserve so much more than that. And then today I'm out with my ride or die at
So this was recent.
breakfast. Oh yeah, this is like all recent. Yeah, my gut was so spot on that I was like, I need to check this out with my friend and find out what's going on. And I was out with my ride or die and I got sent the first devaluing text message and I went, oh, there it goes. There it goes. There it is. There it is. And it was like, oh, you're out actually socializing. Yes, bitch. I have friends that I'm out with. I'm out having brunch.
Controlling much?
Yeah, all of it was like really weird.
Who cares if you're out there actively socializing? What does that mean?
And there was like somebody else there's somebody else very nice in my DMs. And the difference in conversations was, yum, I want that food. I want to go to there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and the other one was like, oh, so you're talking to other people? Like,
yeah, like you have friends? Yes, bitch, I have friends.
Oh, the controlling.
Versus, I want that. What is that food you are eating? How do I get that food?
Mm-hmm. You look like you're having fun. Have a fun time. Like, that looks like yummy food. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you tomorrow.
How do I get that food? Like, where's that food and how do I make that food happen? But like food, because it was food porn. I'm not going to lie. Where I was eating was food porn.
I'm so
hungry. And they do like shots every time the train goes by. And I mean, it's a good time. It was really weird. Food and right, it was one of those like, and I sent the picture of where where I was kind of like, it was a picture of the three of us with and of course I'm with my ride or die and her mom, who's equally as sassy. And we had our 3 mimosas sitting there next to the menu. And it's this place called the Hammered Lamb. And the image is this lamb passed out drunk. And it's really
the Hammered Lamb. Oh my
God, I
love that.
It's a really funny picture. And I love it so much. But that was his first thing. I love where are you at? That's really funny. That's a really funny logo.
Mm-hmm. So what nobody talks about is the different types. You know, we have the overt, the covert.
red flag, red flag, red flag, red flags on the play. Versus, will you take me there? Because all of that looks amazing and I want train shots.
Right. But
what are train shots? They sound great.
There are these narcissists that are so different. Like the narcissist I married versus the narcissist I dated were so different in like a sense of like, one was really angry and really jealous of me. And another one was really controlling. The one I married didn't care who I talked to, didn't care what I did, didn't accuse me of shit. They just were so emotionally like abusive and gaslighting me all the time, make me feel crazy. The one that I dated would check my odometer to see where I drove and ask me where I went. The one that I dated would be like, why were you active on Instagram at 3 a.m. when you said you went to bed at 11? The one that I dated was so controlling. He would be the one that was like, oh, so you have a social life? So you talk to other people? Yeah. He didn't want me to have friends. Yeah. Whereas the one I married, he isolated me from my friends in a very different way. He told them that I was a drunk. He told them that, like, you know, he smear campaigned me, premeditated smear campaigned me earlier on in the relationship. A very different type of controlling. The one that I married never seemed jealous of other guys.
Oh, Mine was very jealous of other men. Like he was
they're different, right? There's so many.
was,
We think that they're the same, but there's so many nuances with these
Yeah.
relationships that you don't know. You never know who you're dealing with,
but you
and they're
still
both.
catch those red flags of like, why do you care?
Yeah, why are you controlling me?
Why do you care? Like, you aren't even my boyfriend. Why do you care?
Right, the audacity to think that some man has some sort of control over you when you don't even have an exclusivity thing with them. Like, you don't even owe them anything. You don't even owe them a callback. And they're asking
They
you.
owe you nothing.
You owe them nothing. You don't even owe them a look towards their direction, and they're already questioning who you're hanging out with and what you're doing in your spare time. Like,
yeah.
Messed up. But there's so many different types of narcissists out there we don't realize. I never really realized the guy I was dating was a narcissist because he was so different from my ex-husband. So different that I was like, oh, well, it's different. But turns out just as abusive, just as manipulative.
Absolutely.
Just very different. Yeah.
And it's that rage now that's like, oh, are you trying to manipulate me? That's so cute. Two can play at this game.
Manipulate them back.
I am absolutely doing it, and it's bringing me a little more joy than it should.
I call it ethical manipulation. We're allowed to manipulate to protect ourselves, right? From an ethical standpoint. Ever met a man who
there are men who respect me. I'm a upper manager in an entertainment world, and there are so many amazing men that work for me that absolutely respect me, including my boss. I work for a male boss who's amazing, who hired nothing but female managers.
Don't manipulate, just walk away and block. Don't waste your energy. Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
That's Tuesday. Tuesday is when I walk away, but for right now, I'm, like a cat with a toy.
Sometimes he needs to learn a lesson. Walk away right away.
He needs to learn a little lesson.
Because
I'm the one that has enough emotional spoons to teach him his message that he needs to learn.
I mean, so what do you feel about when you're stuck with a narcissist, you can't get out, and how to provide some like harm reduction for yourself? Like, in the meantime, while I'm trying to breathe and survive, because I don't have the means to get out, I don't have the means to leave and block and all of that sort of stuff.
That's so important.
Manipulation is part of it, right? Like, how else do we cope?
The person I had to be when I was getting my way out, was so key. Like, it was such a different person than who I am as a human being. And like, there's no, gosh, the person you have to be to survive, you don't owe an apology for.
Exactly. So true.
You got to be who you got to be to survive. And I lied and manipulated and was somebody who I am not at all to escape. I mean, I looked a man I couldn't stand in the face and told him I loved him every day. I played the housewife, and I took the hours and hours and hours of yelling from him, and I put my head down and I played pretend and I swallowed my feelings while I had a storage unit and was doing all of these things to get out, getting a job, getting a new house, getting all of these things. Like, and there's no part of me that feels bad or sorry about it.
You do what you got to do, right?
Survival is what matters. And like, now I'm at this place where I'm like, maybe I need to teach this guy a lesson.
Will they learn it though?
Possibly.
Maybe. Sometimes I feel like they don't learn shit. Because they're so blind.
I'm not sure this guy's like a full-blown abuser, but I definitely think he has an ego that he needs help with.
They have to like get hit with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes tough love is needed, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to teach them anything. Yeah, sometimes they don't learn a thing.
They might
I believe
not. He
that
might
part
not learn
too.
a damn thing, but
one
day.
Never lower yourself to their level. You're better. True story. Yeah. I mean, sometimes we have to think about it. I
still have things at his house, so I have to pick them up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't want to do it by myself. So,
you know what I used to tell my ex?
And I want to do it when there's other people there and he's having a party on Tuesday. So, like, that's the other piece.
Oh, this is why you bring up Tuesday. And
I'm not going by myself. So, like, there's other pieces to that.
I used to tell my ex, I used to say, are you more concerned about being right or being happy?
Oh, always happy.
And I used to say that to him, and he's like, happy. He would always say happy. But he would always try to prove me wrong. I'm like, then what matter? I don't give a shit about whether you're right or wrong. I don't care about the argument here. I want to be happy. Don't you want to be happy? He's like, yeah, but I'm right. Just admit it.
Doesn't always matter.
He always did that. And I'm like, do you care about even being happy?
You're going to buy those material items that I have to replace then? Because it's expensive to rebuild your life. Like, I'm so tired of the fact of like, well, they're just material things. But like, yes, they're just material things. But like, rebuilding your life is really expensive. And I'm really tired of hearing that answer from people. Like, if somebody wants to Venmo me $100, like, please feel free.
Right. It is tough to start rebuild a fucking whole new life after leaving a narcissist and living in poverty. I had to live in poverty for like a year.
I mean, I'm like in the middle of bankruptcy. So unless somebody wants to sit here and Venmo me money to replace those items, like, I don't really want to hear it.
Right.
I'm so tired of that answer. I'm so tired of like, it's just stuff. It's not just stuff when it keeps adding up.
Well, they do everything to break you. They also do everything to make you feel helpless, hopeless, make you feel like you can't do anything. They take away your belongings, your material things, your emotions. Like, they take away all of your autonomy to just be you, your freedom. Absolutely. Sean's in the house. What's up? I'm rebuilding too. I'm living at my cousin's. Well, get your stuff and go no contact. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan.
I felt like
you have to like play the game until I can get there when there's other people there.
Right.
Because I want to be like
there. You don't do it on your own. Yeah.
On my own, because he's having a whole bunch of people over on that day. So it makes it really easy.
Yeah.
To confront, get my stuff, and leave.
Everybody send love and light and well wishes and good blessings and all the things. She's gonna need it. She's gonna need dealing with narcissism.
I got a Courtney. I don't need anything. I got a Courtney. She'll bring a shovel.
I love that. Oh, Michelle! Something just happened. You have had access to come on. It says you're not available, but it showed an invitation to come on. I'll light a candle for her. Yes, 6 months out of a relationship, we all need a Courtney.
Everyone needs a Courtney. Courtney left a really shitty ex-husband as well, so we're each other's Courtney.
I don't know what happened. It said Michelle can join, and then it said not available. So if Michelle, if you can join in. Me neither. Yeah. So I want to know. I'm trying and nada. I don't know what happened. It said you could join. It gave me a thing to invite you. Michelle's in TikTok yelling, "No, Sherry, I know." Anybody who wants to join, feel free to hit that little invitation and little multi-guest and come pop on in if you have anything to add. She's naughty. Yeah. My bestie and I were in the same type of relationship for so long now that we each have a shovel, right?
Yep. That's us. We talk to each other about the dark things that no one else quite understands. And that's how we got there.
Sometimes I just listen to that song, Earl. You know, Earl has to die. And I'm like, you know what? I feel you, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Know what that's like.
That's exactly it. So,
They knew
while I
what they
still
did.
have to play nice until then, I'm just going to have fun with it.
You gotta. Until you get that full indifference. I can't do shit like that. I got nothing holding me to my ex. There's nothing I want from him. There's nothing I need from him. He doesn't even pay me child support, and I
Oh,
don't
of
give
course
a
not.
shit.
Oh no, like my like horrible ex that I left,
Brittany!
I'm a year and a half away from. But this is like a new pain in my ass.
Mm-hmm. Hello? Hello?
Hi.
Welcome. Hi.
Was it you who sent me the invite?
I did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was wondering. I was like, I gotta put some lip gloss on if I'm coming on live. And then by the time I came back, it didn't show up anymore. And I was like, oh, maybe it was just a notification. I'm not sure.
No. Anybody who's in here wants to come in, feel free to join. I'll also invite you if you're a friend. And, oh, yes, the song by Lauren Spencer Smith called Narcissist. Such a good song.
I don't know
Has
if I
anyone heard that
but
song?
hey, I like your transitions, by the way.
Ooh, thank you. I
Fire,
stopped
girl.
doing them for a bit because I just couldn't find any good sounds. And then I found one, and I'm like, ooh, I made one just the other day.
They've been really good.
Thank you. I have a folder of transitions. What's the
Love
name?
it.
Lauren Spencer Smith, and the song is called Narcissist. It's such a good song. Yeah, I agree. I could play it right now.
Thor looks so defeated. Side note.
Oh. Do you want me to play it?
Do it.
I'm going to play it right now. Oh, whoever booked coaching with me.
I'm trying to get Max. He's going crazy.
Good night. Happy 1 year, lovely. Happy 1 year for me. And good night to you.
Yeah, happy 1
I'm
year,
1 year.
girl.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
1
1 year no contact. I'm really freaking happy that I'm 1 year no contact. And it'll go on 2 years at some point. We'll celebrate at that point. But who here has a freedom date that they want to pop in the chat right now? Let's hear them. Freedom dates when you went no contact.
Of August.
26th of August. Yay! My birthday is 22nd of August. Okay, you ready, guys?
Nice.
Can you guys hear it?
I'm putting up the volume.
AA has chips. I think we need some.
Who is this by?
It's Lauren Spencer Smith. Oh shit. That's not it. Narcos starts playing. I'm trying to put it on my tripod on my other side here. But whatever. I'll just
Freedom Day is the day that you went no contact with your narc.
No contact. Or left them, broke up with them. TikTok does allow music, yep.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I know the song.
So good, I know. Promise that it's not your fault you fell for it.
Yeah.
Super good. One little fight breaks into war. Feels like we're dying on a bathroom floor. You'll make an excuse. You'll say that it's you. And the
Loading you see all these awesome dates. You'll be the next date.
What's your dog's name?
This is Thor.
Thor?
This is Thor. He's the god of thunder, but
that's an awesome name. This was on TikTok specifically, right? Did this artist?
Yeah, well, I think she was on TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing they're good at's knowing how to gaslight. I know I sing a lot on my lives, but I usually don't sing on these lives. Just on my fun account.
Yep. But when the song is there, it's there, you know?
It's there, you gotta sing it. You've heard this? Who's heard this? I promise that it's not your fault you fell for it. When you go no contact, leave your abuser. It's when you go no contact or leave your abuser. Yeah, that's when freedom date is.
Honestly, I don't even have a date. I think I like personally block it out for a reason.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just nice to say you're free, right? Like,
yeah. And the thing too is that I think that for a lot of us that go through narcissistic abuse, you know, it's not usually just like one specific person. It's, you know, been like through, you know, childhood and stuff like that. And so you're like, okay, I just don't even want to jinx myself anymore.
right. You don't even want to like be like, oh, here's another date that I need to add to the list of dates, right?
It's just,
That would have been my 17th birthday.
Continuously healing.
So no contact December 4th this year. So just recent. Good for you. Good for you.
Every day gets better.
I saw somebody else said 1 week too.
You know what? One day at a time.
Even one day, man.
Yeah. One day, and then the next day, and then the next day. Next thing you know, you're celebrating 1 year no contact. And I did not think I would get here. Like, honestly, I was happy I got through New Year's without him in my life. I was happy I got through Valentine's Day. I was happy I got through our wedding anniversary, my birthday. And now 1 year later, I'm still, I see him. Like, obviously, he shows up at the house dropping off the kids, and I show up at his house to drop off my kids. And there's interactions, but there's no access to my text messages, emails. I don't have that post-separation abuse where he's accusing me of shit or making me question my parenting, asking me who's coming over to my house, like withholding. He still withholds money from me. And I'm at a point in my life where I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
right.
He thinks that holding back money from me is going to make me reach out to him. And right now I'm like, I'm not reaching out to him. It makes him so mad that I'm at a place financially where I don't need to be like, hey, you owe me this money. I need it. Like,
right.
I'll get it when I get it. Right. Like, I'll put the arrears in a enforcement program with the government and make him pay it when I finally apply for it and get approved for that. Whatever he owes me, he'll pay it to me. And I'm not fighting about it. I'm like,
and that's
before I would be like, I need it. Yeah.
You're not there. You're not trying to take financial gain, you know, like there's that misconception with, you know, women specifically with that. And, you know, when it comes to independent women, like for me, that one big thing for me is that I've worked very hard for my success and to make sure that I wouldn't ever have to rely on anyone. That was always just kind of something, you know, kind of ingrained to me at a very young age, which is a good and a bad thing, you know. But
it's a double-edged sword. Like,
right.
It's something that the narcissist doesn't expect too, especially with financial abuse.
Right.
When they get you to a place where you're being financially abused and you have to depend on them because they've created such a dependency, like they make you feel like, oh, you're contributing so much non-financially, we need you. And then the second that they don't want something from you or they're not getting their way, they start weaponizing the financial dependency that you have of them, and then they threaten you and make you feel like you're worthless without them. And so when you start to like level up on your own and you don't require them anymore to live,
right,
they hate it. Like he could dangle money in front of me and I would jump. Now I don't.
Well, and I'll say even too, like for me it was like I always like gave money, and like even for like certain like men and stuff, they have a really hard time with that. Like it's like you are damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Like you know, because I've learned over time how to be very smart with my money and how to like balance things and you know whatever. So I always have like a little bit of savings and stuff like that, and I'll be able to like give a little bit to people here and there. But that has been taken for granted. Even fairly recently, and it really sucked because I, you know, was very helpful, and then it was basically like, well, you can't say that you ever helped me because then that's gaslighting. You're gaslighting me, and I'm like, that's not the point. I'm saying I'm happy to like help support when you're in a hard place, but like for you to kind of come back and say like that I'm that, you know, you're not basically, like, how I see it is like you're not appreciating it, and not only are you not appreciating the kindness and generosity that I'm able and happy to provide, but then on top of that, you're gonna like turn it around and make it seem like I'm the bad guy.
Right.
Like that was a hard one for me, because it's like,
you're
again,
damned
if you do, damned if you don't.
That's been one of the big things with this like trad wife, like stay-at-home girlfriend thing, is that's really alarmed me, is the lack of financial independence that these women have.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that's how it is. I mean, that's what I've been so scared about, and that's why I'm like, oh, I got to make sure I have to this, because if you are put in that place, that's what like a lot of like toxic people will try to put you in, a place where you know, where they can use that as a crutch and a reason to like blame you, and that you're not contributing, and that you're boring, and that, like you said earlier, that you know, it's you know, you're nothing without me. And I'm like, I ain't ever gonna feel like nothing without you.
Yeah. Never. Yeah.
Yeah. Always have your own money. Always, always, always have your own money.
Yeah.
And it's hard though, you know, I've had people talk about, you know, that's the thing with like domestic violence specifically, is that a lot of like women's, like statistically speaking, because I always say like, you know, narcissistic abuse isn't gender related, but like when it comes to like, I've noticed with a lot of statistically with women, is that they get put in a place where like their finances are so controlled that they're not even able to have like a second account without the person knowing, right? You've gone through the abuse too, of like somebody spending your money, right? So I'm assuming when you were married, you had a joint account and they were spending your money, but then blaming you for spending your
your own money. Yeah.
I had my own accounts, but it was very much like spent every last penny I had to scenario.
Yeah.
And then it did make it easier when I left, that I was able to hide money that way, because I had business accounts. I hid money in business accounts.
Which sucks, because then you feel like you're hiding. You feel like you're
deceptive. You feel like you're deceiving.
Yeah, and that's not your personality. But when somebody's so deceptive, you feel like you, in order to be safe, you have to be deceptive, and then you sit with the guilt and the shame. Right. And then that where the difference is. I had
to learn to get over, was the guilt and the shame.
Yeah.
From who you had to be to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to access this part of you. You got to go real deep and dig this part of you that has to fight. It's a fighter. This is a survival part of you that needs to like access and save you, like save you from who you are, who they've conditioned you to be to survive. Like, they've conditioned you to survive in such a way that you have to make different moves that put yourself last, that put other people first, put them first in order to survive. And then there's another access in you, this inner, this like survival person that climbs out of it and accesses traits that aren't you, like behaviors that you're not, that are not within your integrity.
Reactive abuse.
Absolutely.
And you have to react, or you have to do things that feel deceptive. Like you have to hide money, you have to lie, you have to manipulate. I mean, it is ethical manipulation, in my opinion, when you're doing it to survive. But you have to do things that you normally wouldn't do. Like I threw a plate at my ex's head. I didn't want to do that. I never did that, but I did that because it was the only way for me to stop the abuse that was happening to me. It was the only way to stop this madness that was making me crazy. It was the only thing that I thought that I could do. It was my last resort.
Yeah.
And as soon as I threw it, immediate guilt. Whereas when a narcissist does something really physical or does something really abusive and an attack towards you, they justify it. They're like, you deserved it. I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do this, that, and the other. But you immediately, the second you do it, you're not justifying. You're guilting yourself. You're shaming yourself for doing it. You're regretting it. You're like, that's not me. That's not something I would have done. I don't know why I did that. But really, it's a survival mode. It's a tactic to end the abuse. It's like, I can't have you yell at me so much and break me and turn me into a monster that I have to do something completely out of character to stop it. Because if you continue to do it, you're killing a part of me. My spirit dies, and I need to save myself and speak up for myself. So I'm going to throw a punch your way or yell some insult at you or throw a plate at you. And you feel immediately bad afterwards. And it really, when you play that tape to the end, it's like every time you get into a point where you're about to be reactive and you're about to do something out of character, you can replay the tape from before and go, wait a minute, that's not me. All I need to do here is tone this down and diffuse the situation with either a gray rock or ignoring them or just agreeing with them or practicing jade, like do not justify, do not argue, do not defend, do not explain, like doing certain things that we learn in these communities to get us to diffuse this situation. So
yeah, I've also noticed with like certain like covert personalities, though, it's not always like them like raging, is like them poking at the bear type of thing too. And then one thing that I experienced when I dealt with the domestic violent, like physical assault, was that they were more aggressive. And I gray rocked it, and I was like, I start to like shake because my anxiety, like if I can't come to a communication where we can actually like come to any type of middle ground, then I start shaking and I'm like, I need to remove myself, and I remove myself, and then that's when the assault actually happened. It kicked through my bedroom door, and then I went into shock, and then I tried to escape through the front door, and that's when like they started hitting me and stuff like that. And then and so I like agree with like the gray rock and like certain things, but I also see like the negative side, because it can be dangerous depending on where that other person's mindset is, because sometimes they just think the worst thing. Like I think it was your video I just saw before I came on this live, where it's like they basically like, what, where did you come up with this? Oh, because this is the way you think, this is the way you've acted. You know, this is, you know, because I'll be like, I don't have that train of thought. That doesn't come through my mind. Why would you even think I would do something like that? That's not who I am as a person. So I had it with, and this was a friend who physically assaulted me. And she was my roommate. So ex-friend.
Frenemy.
Frenemy, yeah.
That's what I call them when I'm not talking to them anymore.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, like, because there was stuff that, you know, was built up before, it was just building and wasn't getting anywhere. And unfortunately it became a much bigger deal, and gray rocking in that situation, she just kind of like saw it as like that I was like being malicious, or I don't know. I can't say, I don't think the way that they think, but their minds go to pretty dark places, and they can get pretty physical sometimes when you gray rock. So that's one thing that I'll say.
Yeah, we have to be really careful when we're gray rocking, and also when we're doing the exit strategy when we're leaving them, because if they sense something's a little off or different, they can do one of two things. They can try to hoover you and become really extra nice, which totally throws us off guard and can afford them an extra year, 2 years, 3 years in the relationship. They'll keep us in the cycle again just to abuse us even worse.
Right.
Or they get really rageful and really violent because they didn't get their way. They're like a toddler having a tantrum, except turn this 4-year-old toddler into a 40-year-old grown adult. Watch when they have a tantrum. And they have tools like gaslighting and manipulation and all of that sort of stuff. Watch what happens to them when their rage kicks in and they didn't get their way. That toddler,
and they're like 2 or 3 times your height.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing. Like the night before I left, I literally sat there and was like, hey, do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to do something? Because there was that like tiny piece of you that's like, show me that I don't have to do this. Show me that all this plotting and planning that I did for, 6 months wasn't necessary. And then he just got drunk and screamed at me. So it was, par for the course.
Right.
I used to say thank you. Whenever that stuff, I would think there was hope and they would work on things and go through therapy and all that stuff. Then he would lash out. He would do some crazy thing. And I'd just look at him and go, thank you. Oh, thank you for what? Thank you for what? Thank you for showing me why this isn't working. Thank you for showing me there's life outside. Thank you. You're proving to me I'm proving to you what? Oh, what? You're proving to me how unhealthy you are in my life. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for showing me exactly why I did this all.
Oh, I would say that he would get so mad. Oh, look at you! You drank a glass of wine last week. You're one to talk. Like, it's just it's they have to turn it back on you. And I used to practice saying, "This isn't about me. Right now, we're talking about you." And that's one thing that I can say about like keeping the conversation on the topic when you have something to talk about, and they try to do this Darvo technique where they try to reverse everything back onto you. You have to focus back onto them and say, we are talking about you hiring a prostitute last week. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. No, we're not talking about me looking at your cousin a weird way or having a conversation about fondue to him. We're talking about the prostitute you hired last week. Let's stay on topic. And sometimes before I even knew anything about narcissistic abuse, that saved me. That was a tool I learned from my therapist. Keep on the topics, keep repeating it. And if they start talking about something else you did, about the glass of wine you had last week, turn it around and go right back to the topic. Yep. And that saved me. That's a good tool to redirect their focus of trying to word salad you into a like, mental gymnastic that you can go back and go, no, we're talking about this.
Yeah. I also think it's one thing that we're gonna have to be aware of in the future is, and even now, is that because there's so much information out there on how, terms of gaslighting, terms of word salad, terms of Darvo and stuff, like certain people will actually use that. Like I said earlier with the whole gaslighting thing, when I was like, just because, I'm bringing up that, bringing up one thing and then all of a sudden that's gaslighting, that started to mess with my head, because I was like, well, but am I, am I? Like, I need to start and then so I think it's going to get a little tricky. Yeah, so I think it's going to get a little tricky for some people when it comes to others who are educated, but I think the biggest thing to notice is whether or not the person is actually doing the healing work. Are they actually making progress with their healing? Are they taking action? Are they taking accountability? And and then just to cut it off and, keep your peace, man. Regardless of what, just say the terms. Campaign, regardless of what happens, you just got to keep your peace.
Protect your peace above all costs.
Yeah.
Lesbian female, most likely same as man, other than more seductive, can play victim mode easier. She's harassed me since divorce and behind her new supplies. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, there is, like, a connotation between male abusers versus, women abusers. And I feel like there is this, like, superiority and entitlement from certain genders that will say, oh, yeah, I'm not abusive. Or men can sometimes say that women are abusive, and then no one will believe them. Like, there's a lot. Abuse knows no gender. So I do believe that we have to throw out the ideas that we have about gender and look at the behaviors and look at the patterns.
Exactly. And I've noticed with a lot of women, well, I guess I've noticed both behaviors, because I think I've noticed more covert behaviors. My mom is definitely on the covert side. And it was 2015 where my therapist was like, the way you're like, blaming yourself for everything as you're explaining a story of the abuse that you literally went through, that's not okay. This is really questionable. But it takes a long time, and covert narcissists are the hardest to pinpoint. You question your insanity a lot with that, because it's not that there is that outwardly rage, but it's behind closed doors. And then the covertness of it with women, I notice, are more emotionally manipulative, whereas like men are more of that. They can be psychologically manipulative as well, but then you get the physical. I guess it just really depends on the person.
It does. One thing I notice, are they nicer to you with people around? That's one good red flag to look at. Do you
Well, and I
feel
think
comfortable when there are other people around?
I think that what gets lost is this whole idea that people say like women can't be abusers, but we openly talk about abusive mothers.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly.
like one can't exist without the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we can't talk, and like abusive mother-in-laws, like those are all women. And you think that it ends with that one thing, like that abusive mother is also
Is only abusing their children? No, they're abusing
No.
their partner. They're abusing their son. They're abusing their male friends. They're abusing everyone around them
Yep.
because
they're abusing their husband.
women.
They're like, it's everybody in that circle. And so like that's, and I think that's a nuance that so many people miss. And when we talk about, you know, the men, those men were typically created by the woman, the mother, the whatever.
Yeah.
And like that nuance isn't lost on a lot of us either.
Yeah. I noticed somebody had asked just to add, somebody was like, describe a covert mom. I think mine might be one too. I'm invisible child and people pleaser. I'm right there with you.
I was an only child. I was all of them.
You were all of the, yeah. So
Yeah.
what I could say from covert from my perspective is that you the hardest thing I think to notice with covert moms, and I really hate this word to use, but with covert moms, they're jealous of their children. Like if you are more successful, if you're making more money, if you are excelling where they have not been able to, like if you excel to higher heights than they have, you'll notice how much they will just look at you with a smile, but in their eyes, they just resent you. And then you'll notice that like for instance, I'll tell you one thing. For last Christmas, my grandma-in-law, I think that's how you would say that. I call her grandma, but you know, I got like this, like just little Japanese fan, no big deal. She cried when she got it because like she like loves like Japanese things, and nobody in the family even really knew that she had gone through a situation where her mom had taken away and threw away all of her, like her Japanese like heritage like type of stuff. And so she like cried, and I was like, I didn't expect this to like make such an impact. And I was like, wow, like this is a touching moment, and I did not expect this. And my mom was just like, you know, just like this like grievous like, I hate you so much. And I'm like, it was $1. Like, it wasn't even a big deal. And then
she didn't like the joy that it brought another human being that's not her.
And then and then like the lies that get spread around the family, and just, you know, and it's like, I never heard about the lie. Basically, me and my sister were pinned against each other. We were both people pleasers. Yep. We were pinned against each other, and only recently, she was afraid to talk to me, like because she thought that I viewed her in a certain way. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I will love you no matter what, girl. Like, you're my sister and I love you and I want to protect you. And then it just was mind boggling to me because I actually, my mom lost me to foster care. And so I think she holds a lot of guilt, shame with that, but she would never like go to therapy with me. She just like blamed me for everything. And that was hard for me as like a teenager, because I was like, I just want to have better communication with you. Why won't you just go to therapy with me? Right. And so I didn't really see my mom growing up. And my sister, she's my sister, half sister, but she's my sister. But she, you know, she grew up with my mom the whole time. And so when we started talking again, she was like talking to me about like the abuse she'd been through. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh. And I was so dumb enough to think that that I had it worse. I'm like, I thought that my mom had just pointed me, like picked me out of everybody because I was a child that she lost to foster care. When in reality, I mean, yeah, she was still abusive towards me, but she was also awful towards my sister. We've all been silenced in the family against each other, pinned against each other. And we have all just kind of like kept our distance because this one woman wants to have control of every aspect.
Divide and conquer, right?
It's crazy. So yeah, it's the
Did you have like a golden child scapegoat sort of scenario in your family?
Well, I feel like with that side, you know, because I grew up more on my dad's side after getting out of foster care with like my grandparents and stuff. But with like my mom, like I felt that my sister was the golden child and I was a scapegoat. But talking to my sister, she felt like the scapegoat and I was the golden child. So how funny is that? I think that we were both scapegoats in a sense. I think we both had the
when it suited her, she would switch them.
It can change and switch depending.
Yeah, we had the expectation of like being the golden child and that we were never going to be good enough. But at the same time, like we were treated like that we were the oddball of the family. Yeah. Like she told me that like when I was doing pageantry, she told me, she's like, oh, honey, you're just too short. I'm just saying that because I love you and because like I just don't want to see you lose. So guess what? I won Miss California. I won Miss United, like not United States, not like the big California, but I won a pageant. I was like, I'm gonna, you know, prove to myself and prove to everybody else. And then when I came back to the family and I was like, guys, like I won, I won like the national title, and everybody was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, but I did. I have the crown and the sash. Like I would, it was on, oh my goodness. And it was, but it just shows you like how they downgrade, downplay. And, you know, again, with these type of narcissistic personalities and with narcissistic moms, like it doesn't matter what you do. You're in their eyes, they don't
never good enough.
They don't want you to excel higher than them. So they will find any way. Like when I go to visit, she would be like, how is everything? And I'm like, I'll be honest, because I'm an honest person. And I'd be like, I was feeling low and stuff. I knew you were depressed. Like she was happy for that.
Right. And yeah, like I want like, you to be depressed.
Something I can hold against
competition.
You.
It's a competition against your own child for everything in life. Like your fingers are bigger than mine, or like
your
down
hair's
to every
longer than mine. You can sing better than me. Like you got into this school and I tried to when I was your age and I didn't get in. Like it's so my ex was very much abused by his mom, and I also thought that she was amazing when I met her because she love bombed me. And she was, I hope you got to marry Rossana because I love her. She's amazing. And, because like when he first proposed to me, it was when we were broken up and no one even knew. Like he broke up. We broke up and then he proposed to me in the middle of our breakup, and we got engaged for a month and it didn't last, obviously. And everyone was like, to who? To who? And when he told his mom, I'm getting married, she was like, I hope it's Rossana. I hope it's her. And we ended up breaking up, but then when we did finally get married, she was like, I'm so happy you're in my life. Your daughter I wish I had, which she has it. She has a daughter. Like her
Of course she does.
Daughter.
Of course she does.
My sister-in-law told me, I know why you're divorcing my brother. I know you don't want to be with him anymore. I know what it's like to live with an alcoholic. I understand. My mom is one. And when she first told me that, I didn't realize like abuse. Like I just thought alcoholic. And now I realize what my sister-in-law went through was narcissistic abuse. She was the scapegoat. Yeah. My ex was the golden child. He could do no wrong. Right. He wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars, body shamed me, did all of these crazy things, wasted money of hers even on drugs, alcohol, and gambling and prostitutes and all of that sort of stuff. And he did no wrong. I'm the one that's selfish. I'm the one that was the problem.
Of course. Right. Of course.
And my sister-in-law knew this and realized this, but she didn't think narcissism. She just thought alcoholism, which they're two separate problems. And sometimes they overlap, but they're not the same. It's not a justification of another. But my ex was a product of his mom, body shaming him, telling him he was too fat, that he needed a diet, giving him a candy anytime he had an emotion because she would neglect him from ever feeling his own emotions and regulating them and even labeling them. No, you're not sad. No, you don't feel shame. No, you're not angry. Here's a candy. Have a Skittle. You'll be fine. And then that Skittle turned into drugs and alcohol when he got older. Yeah. So this is what these narcissistic mothers, parents do. to their children is they deprive them of emotional regulation. They don't let them feel their feelings or even help them label it and help them regulate it. So they become self-absorbed. They can't trust the outside world. They turn to gaslighting and change their entire reality to survive. And they hurt others in the process. That's how a narcissist is born. Basically, it's their parents.
Yep.
And I see it. Like, of course I have compassion for him because he got it from his mom, but I'm not going to fucking let them abuse me.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
go
We
for
have
it.
a choice as individuals. We have a choice. Like, have I developed certain unhealthy coping mechanisms and certain reactions and stuff? Oh yeah. But like, I have worked on it. I have acknowledged it, and accountability and working on it is the biggest factor in it. Are you actually taking action to do something about it and heal from it? It's our choice individually if we're going to actually do something about it, or if we're just going to continue the cycle. Because if you just hide from that shame, you're just going to continue that cycle of shame and guilt, moving it around everywhere, and people are just going to get more hurt. Like, it's
musical chairs, musical emotions. Nothing ever goes away. It just you just move over here, move over there, and you're just pushing it down.
Yeah.
Well, Thor's saying he needs to go outside, so I'm gonna run.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You won't go
Thanks
potty
for
outside.
being here, guys. I'm probably gonna go to bed soon too. I'm probably gonna go to bed now. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you for chatting with us. If you haven't followed all of us, here's your opportunity. Give us all a follow. If you don't know, I'm a certified life and relationship coach. You can book a one-on-one coaching session with me. I do have the Dating Again webinar coming up on January 25th. And Lundy Bancroft, who wrote the book Why Does He Do That? I'm interviewing him on February 9th.
What, girl?
Yes, you know this?
So awesome, which is awesome.
That.
If you want to be in that webinar where we interview him, there's going to be 4 of us interviewing him. Carrie McAvoy, Lisa Sunny, and myself. And one other, I think Catherine Kleiss from Stan Coaching. The 4 of us are going to be interviewing Lundy Bancroft. Yes, why does he do that? The webinar is called How Could He Do That? And it's on the link in my bio if you want tickets. Until January 31st, it's only $30, and then the price is going up. So the $30 is a early bird price. So if you want to be in that webinar to ask him questions personally and meet him, go book that before the end of the year for that early bird price. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for guesting. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Jess.
Tomorrow.
It was so nice to meet you.
Nice to see you guys.
All right.
Everybody have a good night, and thank you for all your input. Okay, bye guys.
Bye guys.